I think live anyway. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you both for joining me on rather gloomy Tuesday. I know most people went back to work today. You know, dark mornings, dark nights. Not a lot to be happy about unless you're a Leeds United fan after a win at home. So, how are we both doing anyway? First things first. Are you both all right?
Yeah, I'm alive, just about. I've had flu and I'm recovering from that now.
Are you okay?
A little bit run down still. I'm all right, mate. I'll be fine.
That's what I like to hear. Karl, yourself, are you feeling fine?
I'm doing all right, you know. Yeah, I'm not back to work till next week, so I'm happy enough with that.
You just don't look it.
That's nice. That's nice. I wish I wasn't back. To be fair, there's not a lot going on at work this week. I hope nobody from work watches this podcast, but there's not a lot going on. I'm just catching up on a few bits that, like, you know, some people work between Christmas and like to send emails and stuff to you. And I'm like, do you know what I mean? Like, give you a bit of a rest. Anyway, we're here to talk a little bit about Leeds United. So I'll run an intro and we will get crack-a-lacking.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Ought to Know Better podcast. Let's do this.
You look like fucking Brolin, you're a Leeds in bastard.
Look like some sort of fucking weird floating head. No.
Utensil play a bit, innit?
I mean, I feel a bit right, dickhead.
Kill it, really.
Did that work for you guys?
It did?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay, it never worked for me. So I just had a black screen, so I was just counting on it going. I was counting on it coming back at some point. Just the screen went complete. The screen went completely black, and I was unable to see anything. First things first. Then, obviously, we've had a couple. I don't think we've had a main pod over the Christmas period. So we'll rewind a little bit. Obviously, we started with Ipswich, the 4-0 win at home, and then we had a couple of torrid performances in between, and then another good performance to end a bit of a shit sandwich, shall we say? But let's first things first, wish everybody a very happy New Year. All of you watching and in the comments, we're very, very privileged to have you join us for another year of OKB. So thank you very much.
Another year of chaos.
Yeah, hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. But I mean, let's start with the Christmas shitness then. So really, really briefly, obviously, we had a really good performance at home. 2 shite performances during Christmas on Boxing Day and I believe it was the 29th. I can't remember. Christmas is just a big blur to me at the moment. At West Brom, and then we've sort of come out the other end. But did you expect a little bit more over the Christmas period? And obviously on the back of a good win at Ipswich, Karl, did you expect us to go into Preston, who'd been battered by Watford at their place relatively recently? For us just to show a little bit more shit, a little bit more grit on the road, and carry on making up those points.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed, to be honest, with both performances overall. What I'm finding difficult at the moment is how we can play like we did against Ipswich and not take that momentum into the next game, regardless of whether it's away or not. I'm kind of sitting there looking at it, and I'm like, right, teams are afraid of us. Why aren't we asserting ourselves on them like we do at home? Why aren't we doing that? Like they're clearly afraid of us. They'll change to a low block, which we seem to do all right with on yesterday, which we'll get anyway. But I'm struggling to get that side of things. I'm not taking this. Oh, the kids are unlucky, this, that, or whatever. It's a total dip in form as soon as we go away from home, and I'm struggling with that at the moment, considering how good our home form is. And to not be able to take that into the next game is just a pain in the arse, really. Like, it's frustrating.
Yeah, I think for me the Preston one sticks out a little bit more than West Brom. West Brom are a pretty well drilled side. Preston are absolute dog shit. You know what? I went to Preston as well, so I was up at the crack of dawn. I think 5:30 my alarm went off for an 12:30 kickoff. I was drinking from sort of 7 o'clock in the morning. We were drinking fireballs and stop off on the coach at 9 o'clock in the morning, 9:30, I think.
Whoa.
So yeah, it was a messy one, but like it just really frustrates you because they're not a good side. They've got one or two handy players. I think their left winger, I forget his name, was dangerous. I think he scored their second. And And for me, it was just a bit of a dire performance on the back of such a good, overwhelming performance against Ipswich, who were slightly above us in the league. And did we miss an opportunity for you then, Jay? Do you think that's our opportunity missed even?
What were those 2 games? Absolutely.
Well, just to put a bit more pressure on Ipswich and now Southampton. But yeah, do you think we should have? Do you think what position do you think we should be in? I think we should almost be in second place now in the league.
I think we should be, but the stuff that I said would happen has happened. So I told everyone we had this inconsistency in us. We had these terrible performances, and that we'd do it again, and that we wouldn't get automatic because of it. And so far, it's coming true. I wish I wasn't such an expert, and wish I was wrong about these things. But
you think you'd be higher up in the predictions league then, wouldn't you? To be honest,
you would, mate. To be fair, you would. Can't explain that other than giving you guys a chance after winning it last year. But I mean, it's frustrating. If you look at it now, it's strange because it actually feels more like we could catch Ipswich now almost than it did before Christmas, even though we've had those 2 shit games. Like all joking aside, but I'm getting the feeling now that it's going to be sort of Southampton go up automatically and we get beat by Ipswich in playoff final because that's just what we do, innit?
God.
Yeah. I mean, on a slightly more positive note,
please.
West Brom was average. I think we probably could have beaten West Brom. I think there was a couple of penalty shouts, and look, we weren't at the races, but I think on another day, even with that poor performance, we could have probably beaten West Brom, and we should have been beating Preston. But look, let's talk about last night then. Let's talk about. I was going to say Wayne Rooney's Birmingham, but it's no longer Wayne Rooney.
Not anymore.
Because
we've seen him off.
We've finished him off, which is a great feeling, by the way. I must add.
It is, yeah.
But yeah, what did you? In a nutshell, then, Jay, what did you make of last night's performance? Let's talk first half.
First half, it felt a bit laboured early doors. We didn't look sort of like the dynamic Leeds that we can be, but you've got to remember after 2 shit performances, you're not going to pick yourself straight back up off the floor and go straight back up there, are you? You got to build back up to that. You need to get a bit of confidence back, and you just need to do basic things right. And I think for the most part, we did that, to be honest. I think it was one of them performances that it wasn't spectacular, but we never really looked uncomfortable, and we did everything that we needed to do, I felt. Thought Clarkson did well as well when he was called upon.
Yeah, I wanted to pick up on I wanted to pick up on the Clarkson thing. Like I've seen a few tweets, people going Clarkson #1. It's like, hold on now.
I think they're taking piss, man.
Yeah, I know, yeah, but to give him his due, like he didn't have an awful lot to do, if anything, really, apart maybe 2 saves. And he you find sometimes keepers can lapse in concentration when they've nothing for doing for 90 minutes, and then he made that good save in the second half as well.
Yeah, well, later
when it took a deflection off Cooper. Oh no, it was in the first half.
Where he took a deflection off Cooper.
Yeah, no, he made himself look weird or whatever. But like as far as it goes, I think he's a lot. He showed a lot more about him yesterday than I've seen in Darlow in 2 games nearly.
That's a good point. And is Darlow's Leeds career over, do you think? Do you think that's his chance gone?
I think so, man. I think it's Claessen's to lose now. I think the number 2 spot, I think.
I think it's going to be hard to see Darlow get back into the first team at any point now.
Yeah, well, like you were saying there, that game against Birmingham was his opportunity to kind of try and cement a place there.
Yeah.
I don't know if the defence would have had the same confidence in Darlow, personally, because his performances haven't been great, and like that first goal that Preston got, it was just a header, and there was no effort made for it. Like, it's just like, oh god, you can see what way the players, looking and potentially heading it, and But anyway, look, we get back to the game. The game was quite good. We got Rooney sacked, and that was great.
Yeah, we got.
Do you think Clarkson shit himself when he got there and got told he's playing? By the way,
no, I don't.
Should have been expecting that, would he?
No, I think they knew before.
Did they? Okay.
Because they brought the young ladders back up for the bench. The young lad was on the bench,
right,
wasn't it?
Okay. I don't remember.
So they would have known. They would have known.
Fair enough.
It's one thing for me. I don't think we started that well last night, and it's almost contradictory to how we've started recently when we've had when we've had our shall we say our favourite 11 or Farker's favourite 11 available. Yeah. We've almost started like a rocket. What's the saying? Bat out of hell, rocket out of ship or something. I don't know. I fuck know.
We start like a bat out of hell because we go at everyone normally.
We start really, really well. We tend to start with high energy
like and scolded rats.
Yeah, like for life. I love that. Yeah, I like it. But last night we didn't start that well for me. I mean, we started comfortably, but we didn't look overly dominating, and there was times where actually Birmingham broke us down the right side, and if it was a better passing, they could have gone 1 or 2 up. And then we sort of composed ourselves a little bit, and for me, I felt this is where picking Paddy Bamford was a bit of a masterclass, because Birmingham City, Paddy Bamford is our only natural number 9. Look, people are going to tell me Joel Piro's a number 9. People are going to tell me Rutter's a better 9. But our only natural centre forward who makes runs unselfishly without getting the ball and drags defenders around is Paddy Bamford. And like at Olympic, that's the truth, and that's the position we're in. So I think once Paddy got a little bit more confident, once the team around him felt that a little bit more comfortable, we just I mean, towards the end of the half, that's where we scored both our goals was the first one in like the 40th minute and the second one in injury time, round about then?
It were close to half time with the second one, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, for me, it wasn't an ideal start to a game, and arguably I would prefer us to start more as we have done previously when we've had a different lineup. But I think once we'd settled into the game, it looked a far better option and a far better idea, I suppose, and tactically for us to line up in that way. And I could see why Farker did it. What did you think, firstly, to the omission of Jed Spence? Then, do you think that was a shock, or is it a resting, or?
I thought it was interesting, but I think he needed a little kick up the arse because his attitude's not looked quite right for me.
Oof, do you really think that?
He's looked a little uninterested at times. I don't know if it's just settling into playing again and being at a different club. It could be. It just hasn't quite looked like he's fully at it for me.
Yeah.
It's only 3.5 games that he's played for us, really, when you think.
Yeah, no. As I say, it could just be settling in, finding his feet. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sort of refuse to give him benefit of doubt. He hasn't looked as good as maybe we were hoping he would.
I agree with you, man. I think he hasn't looked like, the only time I kind of thought he started to look like the player we thought we'd signed was when he did play on the right of defence, and he didn't have to cut back in on his right the whole time to find a pass. He was more naturally bombing on, and he got to the byline a couple of times and was able to get a few crosses in. He added another dimension down that side because he was able to overlap properly without having to think about using his left foot. I wasn't at all surprised, really, that he got dropped.
Like
he's been out bleeding since the start of the season. Like, so it's still a lot of game time for him to be kind of committing to again as well, I think. But I just think that last night, like you were saying, Luke, we did look a bit off the boil. I think it looked very lethargic. And I did say
we have played 4 games in is it 8 to 9 days?
Yeah. Oh, I get that. Like, that's understandable. Crackers. Like, that's not. I'm not, giving them grief for
but
that.
every team has. There's no excuse there. Do you know what I mean? They're professional footballers. They're athletes at the end of the day. That's their fucking. It's the job.
It's their job. It's their job.
It's like I said, we laboured, didn't we, the first half a bit till the goal came, and then we sort of woke up a bit.
It felt like the crowd was like that as well. That the crowd. There was a point at which Birmingham could take the piss out of us and say we weren't singing, like, because it was very quiet for for a while. Like.
I think we were all a bit knackered from Christmas and New Year and all a bit subdued from games that we'd seen previously. And I think there were a lot of nerves in the ground. I think people were worried because it's a bit of a slump, isn't it, if you lose again?
Yeah.
It had the potential to be a banana skin. You know, Rooney's clinging on by his teeth. You know, we'd come off the back of 2 away defeats. You know, we're unbeaten at home, so that's got to come to an end at some point, surely. I mean, I hope it doesn't, but you'd imagine that it would at some stage. They beat us at their place at the start of the season. You know, it had all the makings of a real potential banana skin, and I think we got through it well. And I think Danny Rumsey sums it up quite well here. We didn't start well, but because we had a proper 9 as a I think he means focal point, but
I think he does. Yeah,
we had all, you know, we had that option, and I want to come on to Paddy Bamford because he deserves he deserves a mention in a conversation, because the difference he made in that starting 11, albeit all right, not for the first 25 minutes, half an hour, or whatever it was, until we sort of started getting a foothold in the game. But we looked a very, very different team with him in the squad, and I'll tell you my reasons before I start. I mean, I'm sure you're both going to agree, but I tweeted before the game something along the lines of, I can see why he's brought Paddy in, because Paddy against a team that's going to play arguably a low block, whatever you want to call it, park the bus, however you want to dress it up. He's going to pull defenders around and make that space for whoever was going to be playing in the 10. That could have been Gaetano Berardi, who played in the 10. He would have still had space because of the work that Paddy was unselfishly putting in.
I don't think anyone denies that there are things that Bamford does well that nobody else at the club can do. It's just the final product is what kills him.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
I thought Paddy played very well yesterday, and I thought
he did.
Our style of play changed ever so slightly. Maybe that could be Fark's kind of plan B, is to get Bamford on the pitch more often to hold that ball up, because when we're transitioning, we go really quickly and we get to a point where there might be one player up there and no one to kind of pass it to, because Pirro's coming late and Rutter's drop deep to kind of pick up the ball and play, you know. So it gave us a focal point to be able to kind of go, right, if we have Paddy there, we know he's going to hold it up. We know he's going to play it out wide if we can get people on the ball and bring people into the game. And it changed completely to what we've been used to seeing over the last couple of months. And I thought it was quite enjoyable to watch, to be fair. Like, Paddy put in a serious shift.
He did, yeah.
And he deserved his goal, let's be honest. Like, it was a long time coming, and that performance is probably one of his better ones since he last scored, I think.
Would it be too much to ask to have a player with Paddy Bamford's knowledge and experience and energy, but with Pirro's finishing? Or would we be talking like a lot of money and out of our league, and that's why we've got half and half?
I think that's why we've got half and half. And yet, he also,
I think out of our range, that.
I think also, if you do find a player like that the club are willing to accept it, is that player going to drop down to the Championship? You know, we're at that slight disadvantage now as well. So
they are disparate.
If we go up,
players, though, Karl.
Pardon?
They are disparate with those players, though. If you do get them, you get one season max out of them, don't you? Unless you go up.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. Like, they're always looking for the next big thing, and that's why I think if we need to go up this year. But like, if we can put in more like, I thought yesterday was a solid performance. There was nothing glamorous about it. There was good performances all over the pitch. If we can kind of bash out a few more of them away from home, those kind of performances, like, I'm not talking about, you know, the Ipswich performance at home.
Yeah.
Even if it was just a Birmingham performance where we're doing the dirty work and getting it done and getting it over the line, I'd be happy enough with those kind of matches all season for the rest of the season. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's. I think it was summed up by me by Scooby, actually. And now I know we have had differences, Scooby, and opinions and things on here, but I think you've got this pretty spot on. Paddy kind of gave a proper license to Rutter. He wasn't half this, half that. More, I'll do this, you do that. Plus a proper out and out winger needs an out and out 9. And I think we saw the best. I mean, I don't want to get carried away because we played Birmingham City, who are absolute dog shit, by the way. But they've got some good players on paper. But Rooney's absolutely ruined them. for their decision to sack Eustace just based on bringing their face in is bonkers, if you ask me. And the fact that they're looking
100%.
at the fact that they're now looking at Frank Lampard tells you everything you need to know about their board.
I saw Jesse Marsh mentioned as well.
Jesse Marsh, yeah. I mean,
that'd be amazing.
But there's a lot to be said for somebody who plays as a proper striker, and we saw the best out of Dan James last night. I think we saw the best out of Cree. We certainly saw the best out of Rutter. That was the best game he's had for a long time, arguably ever for us. He just controlled things. Now, my question to you two, I suppose, is, and I'll give you my opinion afterwards, but do you think that now solves the 10 problem? Do you think now Rutter's played in there, that's it, we've solved it, and we don't need a number 10? Or even if we do need a number 10, do you think he's good enough to be that number 10 that can pull the strings, or was it because it was a weaker position? I'll start with you, Jay.
I would be controversial and stick with Rutter because I think that he's got so much talent and potential. I don't want to see him dropped for somebody else coming in. And then if you don't drop him, that means you're dropping one of the wingers. So it's just there's no one in that set of players that I want to take out the team for someone coming in. I wouldn't have a problem with a 10 coming in, as long as it wasn't automatically taking his place, and that's it. You know, I want the kid to keep playing and developing for us.
No, that's fair.
Yeah. Do you think, Jay, if Fark did what you mentioned there, if he brings in a 10 and then he has to drop one of the wingers, I don't think that's such a bad thing either, because if you drop Somerville at the start and play James and Rutter out wide, you've still got two unbelievable options out wide. Like that's that
means someone else is playing in Somerville. So
yeah, but that
if you want to rotate, but
that's what I was just going to say. Like it gives Fark another option to rotate in that position as well. Like so,
I'm not against it, as I say, as long as it's not automatically removing him from the team and we lose him, as a player in there for large parts of the season.
I don't think that would happen. I think it'd be a case of that he'd make it work around having Rutter on the pitch.
If it's for depth, I'm all for it.
Do you know what? Do you want to know my outlook on the whole situation? I don't think Rutter is good enough to play in the 10 against a good side, or even a bad side that plays a low block away from him. I don't think he's the answer. I think he's good enough. I think he's technically got everything. I just don't think he's the player that will be able to. We've seen him drop deep many times this season, and it still hasn't worked. Even when against teams who are playing a low block. For me, we need an old head, an experienced head that doesn't actually run about that much, that literally just finds pockets of space and has that, and literally has an eye, a Pablo Hernandez, shall we say, that but he did actually run around quite a bit.
Good luck finding one of them, mate.
No, I agree, but look at Pritchard. Who does he play for? Pritchard, when he was, was he at now? Is it Norwich? Oh, I can't remember. Somebody we played recently. Pritchard, and he just sat there and he just literally sat in front of our back four and just pulled the strings, and he was slotting passes. They don't have to do a lot of work defensively, although in our Sunderland, sorry. And he had a really good game against us, and somebody of that ilk, and somebody who can even off the bench. So maybe if we start Rutter and it doesn't work, but somebody who can. Big up, Joe. I'll see you when we're finished. By the way, I'm jumping straight onto Joe's. If anyone's not had enough of listening to me, I'll be on with Joe straight directly after this. But somebody of that makeup, somebody of that caliber, somebody who can even, as I say, come on off the bench and just find a few passes and just just find pockets of space and give that additional. I don't even know what the best word is. That additional 5-10% from your other attacking players, because there's no denying that we've got great wingers and that we've got options up front. Even Rutter is an option. We've got Pirro. We've got Bamford now, who looks to. I mean, I don't want to get carried away because it was only Birmingham and it was one game, but Bamford looks to be happy at least. But. I mean, I don't know who. People are asking me, like, who? I don't know. That's not for me to find. I mean...
that guy's name's going to come up again, isn't it? That Amiri or whatever you're called.
Yeah, Amiri. But, I mean...
You're going to hear about Ilias Chair, aren't you?
Would you even look at somebody that's not playing for anyone? Jesse Lingard, for instance.
What about, like, giving Archie Gray a shot at the 10?
I don't know. I just don't know if we're expecting him to learn too much on the job. We don't need somebody who can come in and learn the 10 like we're expecting Rutter to do. I think Rutter's best position. I think Rutter's best position is a right winger. By the way, Carvalho, great shout. I don't think we'll get him because I just think he'll be going to a Premier League team, or Southampton's been mentioned today. I've seen as well, and potentially Leicester. I think I've seen as well. Do you think? I mean, Paveda's another name have been mentioned, but they're not people who can naturally. I don't think. I mean, he had a great pre-season, but I'm talking an older head, probably coming towards the end of their career, that we can pick up for pretty much a low transfer fee, but maybe a high wage.
Yeah,
like James Milner.
You can't do that anymore. But you know, I mean, I can't think of names off the top of my head. But I mean, I mentioned there a minute ago, Jesse Lingard. Would you look at bringing him for 6 months to the end of the season?
I think he's garbage.
I don't think he's played enough football to be able to just slot in there. He's not even playing for Forest at the minute, is he?
He's not playing for anybody. He's a free agent. He hasn't played.
Whatever happened to Dele Alli? His career went down pan, didn't it? Is he still at Everton?
He's still at Everton, I think.
Is he not in Turkey on loan or some crack like that?
Who knows?
But yeah, I don't know. Like it's a tough one to call because there's no one really available that would be within a wage price and probably a sale price that we'd probably really like to get in there. And again, it comes back to we said it a couple of weeks ago maybe that it's we need to be careful that we're not filling up our squad with top level championship players as opposed to buying for when we go up. And we just need to be very wary of that.
Lingard's going to Everton. Joe tells me. But he would have been somebody. I mean, he's not ideally the person I'd go for, but he'd be somebody that's not at a club. He is somebody who can naturally do that role. So that was an example. But that's what I feel we're missing more than anything else on the field. I think left back, obviously with Byram going off, I thought Firpo had his best game in a Leeds shirt yesterday.
2 assists.
Yeah,
2 assists. There we go, Joe. That's all for you, mate. bit of Firpo love. We know how much you hate Junior Firpo.
I'll be in comments to support you.
Yeah.
You've said it as well, and I don't know how many times I've banged this drum, and again, without getting too carried away, because it was only Birmingham, we know how crap they are and how shit they are. Junior Firpo looked fucking good. I'm not going to lie.
He looked decent
because he didn't have to do much, if any, defending.
Yeah,
because that's the key.
That is the key.
He doesn't have to do half of his job. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
And we're really pleased though that cross that he put for that second goal. Because they were right in front of us in wedge, and I saw him, and I saw, he looked up, and I thought he's seen him. He has surely, and he did. He passed it to him, and I was amazed because I was just expecting a generic boot ball into the crowd kind of thing, and he actually picked out a man, and I was proud of him.
He did it twice.
Did he twice?
Yeah, he did.
He did it twice. To be fair to him,
he was going to shoot as well. I thought he was going to shoot.
Go on, Junior.
He was very good yesterday when he was going forward. My arse still fell out a bit when it came to the defending side of things. But he was very, very good. Like that touch he took when the ball came over his shoulder from Rutter's pass. That was lovely. Like that's not a player who's short on confidence to take that touch. You know what I mean, or to make that run or something. Along them lines. It's you gotta it's gone from the crowd taking the piss out of him to the crowd actually going, well, he's still here. He didn't want to up sticks and leave. So
exactly.
You got to give him some credit where it's due. Like
that's it. If he wants to be here and he's prepared to put effort in, get fit, and play like that, then people are going to be happy, aren't they? People will back him.
What did folk think of Cooper's performance yesterday?
Average for me. Average.
He's 110% committed, isn't he? But he's lacking that extra yard of pace, and he's starting to misread even more so than what he did before.
And on that, there are a couple of times high balls coming in. You know what you told us kids, don't let it bounce.
Yeah.
And every time he gets flummoxed by him, it bounces as an attacker with him. He don't know which way they're going, don't know where ball's gone. He worries the fuck out of me. And as Bryn says there, he got bailed out by Rodon a couple of times.
He did.
Yeah.
Because he reads everything, Rodon. He's on it.
Yeah,
he's very good, very good player. Yeah, I mean, Cooper's all right if you're bringing him in as a backup in it. I mean, and that leadership is always good. You know, look, I think did he play
Great guy
against
to have
Watford
around
as
the
well?
squad.
Did he play against Watford as well? Cooper, he did, didn't he? I think
he got the goal, didn't he? He got a goal against.
Yes.
That's the one he got injured in, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, you look at the 2 games where he started. I know he started on them, but just those 2 as an example. We scored 6 and conceded none. So you know what I mean? I mean, we can't really. I mean, for me, he's a great servant and he's a good backup and he's a good lad to have around the club.
Yeah.
And he can do a job if needed. But if Roden hadn't been there, as we've said, look, we'd probably be looking at a different scoreline yesterday. Somebody of Roden's caliber. But let's fly on to anything else. Anybody else you want to mention anything else from Birmingham game? Clarkson, we said, had a good, steady enough game.
Yeah.
Good to see Archie back. He did well.
The wingers were their usual selves.
What do you think? What did you make of Kamara yesterday?
Quiet.
Yeah.
Very quiet.
He was a bit off the ball
Did his
yesterday.
job, but he was quiet.
He got into a few good positions when we were sort of overlapping and stuff, but he didn't do a great deal for me. But he didn't really do anything wrong either. Do you know what I mean? He just didn't stand out.
Yeah, that's it, Jay. There you go. Jay's gone again.
I was going to mention it's gone now. It's completely gone.
No, your connection had gone as well, Jay, so we only got half of that. But anyway.
Yeah, fair enough.
Anyway.
Never mind.
Top Banana says there, if we actually buy anybody, I don't expect us to buy anybody that's going to do that job I've been speaking about, certainly. But they do have to be Premier ready or we get loans. I expect us to look into the loan market or the free agent market when I don't expect us to sign anybody as a 10 that is going to be, because we're going to be paying over the odds. The January tax, you've got everything else to take into account. If we're serious about actually getting top 2, though, it might be that we sign somebody who might do that. But I fully expect us to be looking at the loan market this window.
I think so. It's hard to get players that are going to be good enough to go up with you if that's the aim, without loaning people with the chance that they can go back if you don't go up. Yeah. You're not going to get top players wanting to sign permanently in case you don't.
That's what I'm worried about. Like, that's the kind of way I'm looking at it. Like, and we also have to avoid filling our squad up with championship players rather than players that we need to take us to the next step.
Yeah, because if we don't go up this year, we could be there a while if we fuck up with the transfer policy.
Yeah. Sorry. What were your thoughts on Dan James yesterday? I thought he was really, really good.
I thought he was great. Yeah, he was dynamo Dan James up and down.
Yeah.
See, who was I having a conversation with? I can't remember, but I was having a conversation. It was a friendly debate on X or Twitter, whatever we call it these days. And he was like, "I don't rate Dan James as a footballer," and I was like, "Look, for everything he does, that's frustrating. Or certainly this season, everything he's done that's frustrating, he's made up for it in his goals and assists. I think he's got 8 goals and 5 assists this season now, which is his best goal contribution in the career ever, I believe. I read earlier on. So look, I mean, whilst he's frustrated and sometimes he fucking skies it into Rose Ed in the East Upper, it's very difficult to try and find negatives with a player who's in such good form, I think. But
it's contributing a hell of a lot.
It's controversial, isn't it? Because I mean, if and again, hypothetically speaking, if we were to go up, Dan James would not be our right winger, I don't think. You know what I mean? We'd probably be looking at improving on there. I think maybe as a backup or something coming off the bench. Great.
Yeah.
Agree, Karl, or are you going to say something about
that? Yeah, I think, like you said there, I think that he'd be a great backup off the bench, but at the same time, I don't think he's the worst player that you can get to have in the Premier League on the wing. Still fast, still terrifies defenders, and if he's playing in a setup that suits his strengths, then done all right for Fulham.
He has got a bit of Premier League experience under him, so
yeah. His European experience,
he's useful as a squad player.
Yeah.
If you're going to keep some of the people we've got now as squad players, then you can't be booting Dan James out next season.
No.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
in a relative sort of speaking way, he's no worse
fair.
In that division than they are now.
Yeah.
No, I'd agree with that. I think as an option, and And there's no way you can discount this season so far and the season he's having. You know, his goals and assists speak for themselves. And whilst I'm not a big fan of statistics or data, so to speak, goals and assists are the ones that count for me. So we could. That's all we can work off. But he should have had an hat trick in fairness, if not more. There was a couple of times the ball stuck to his heel when he was in the box, and it would have been easy to score. Ampadu, what about Ampadu's chance?
Oh, jeez,
off Firpo's header.
Man, Ampadu's going to go through the whole David Batty thing of only ever scoring 4 goals in his whole career. He's wearing the same number shirt now. It's like, what are you going to do?
Curse.
Yeah.
The curse, yeah. Anyway, right, let's go on to a few of these comments before we go on to shit take on the day or whatever it is. But yeah, we'll fly through with some of these comments. Paul Brennan, as ever, welcome, Paul, and Happy New Year to you. Please repeat Birmingham. Just shows that the big man Jorginho isn't a number 9 and played in the number 10 position, which he was good. I still debate. I mean, we've obviously covered a lot of this, but I still think Jorginho's best position is coming in off the right wing. I think it will be. I don't think
time will tell.
Exactly, and it's hard. It's hard to discredit him based on last night's performance because he ran the show at 10.
Yeah, he did. He was great.
So, Alison Adams says it looked like no atmosphere yesterday. How did it feel, lads? I mean, it looked all right after the goal, I think, but up to then it was pretty dull.
It was flat.
Yeah, it was a bit flat. It was just subdued. I think people were knackered. Like, half of us have been fucking ill with flu or cold. Most of us are hungover. You know, it's one of them, innit? New Year's Day, everyone's a bit.
It was a proper midweek fixture, wasn't it? Do you know?
Yeah, it definitely had that Tuesday feel about it. All right, yeah.
I mean, it's been a bit mad, hasn't it? Like Boxing Day, 12:30 kickoff, and you've got New Year's Day, and it's just there's been a lot going on. Everyone's
and a game
knackered.
in between there as well.
Yeah, everyone's knackered.
You know? So yeah, you fair to comment that, Ali. And Happy New Year to you as well, Ali. Mark, Happy New Year. Didn't Darlow dislocate his thumb before West Brom, and due to He
did.
Due for a week. Oh, is that due to have a baby?
Yeah,
so he might not.
He did. I'd forgotten about that. That's why I starred this comment because he's spot on with that. He did. Yeah, they taped it, I think, for West Brom, and then he's had to sit this one out because they already knew.
Speaking of taping fingers up, have you seen Robert Green's finger recently in the news?
I heard something about this, but I ain't seen it.
It's like this, right? And it literally points in a completely other direction. And apparently,
that's how he makes so many saves.
The glove makers used to make his gloves with an extra, just with 4 fingers, so he could strap his finger up.
Oh, jeez.
Because it's that bad, and it's just, honestly, it's like that forever now. You'd think they'd be able to operate and sort that out, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah. You think so, especially when it's...
Oh, Jay. Especially when it's your what, Jay?
Livelihood.
Oh, livelihood. Okay. Yeah. Okay, we got there at the end.
Just one of those little freezes.
Cool. Couple more comments to fly through. Simon, question for after the game chat. Do you think we will get the players we need in January? It's a difficult time to get decent players. And we touched upon this briefly again, haven't we? We know where we need strengthening. We're probably looking at left back and a 10 for me, at the bare minimum, depending on outgoings. I don't know. How many do you think we need if we're really going to be serious about a push for promotion?
I wouldn't expect any more than 2 players coming in, probably on loan, to be honest with you.
I think that's probably sensible.
I wouldn't be shocked if nobody came in, and I wouldn't be mega upset if nobody came in, but I would probably like a little bit of reinforcement.
Yeah.
Also depends if Nanto goes.
Do we expect any outgoings then, other than potentially Willie? Do we reckon there's going to be offers coming in for Crean, I should imagine? But I think we'll not come back.
You'd have thought so. We're at that point now, aren't we, where bottom end at Premier League teams are going to be trying to get players like Cree.
Yeah.
You might get some offers in for Cresswell, possibly. Hopefully we don't let him go, but he's got to be getting frustrated, hasn't he?
There's been a bit of talk about us going after that. Yeah, the young lad from, where is he from? Centre back, I believe. Somebody in the comments helped me out. Somebody in the comments helped me out. I've seen it today, but very, very briefly because I've been working so hard. The bosses are watching. But yeah, I did see it very, really, really briefly. But yeah, he's a young centre back who can play both sides, I believe. From from Hammerby, but I've forgotten his name.
I know that.
I've not heard this one. I've not heard this one.
Ajay, that's him, Johnny Brook. Thank you ever so much, and a very happy new year to you, sir. Thank you for helping me out. Yeah, from Hammerby. There's been talk of us bringing him in. Now, I imagine that's probably with the view to Cresswell going out.
Do you think is that a wise move, putting Cresswell out, or do you think because? I don't know. It's a weird one.
I'm reluctant to bring someone known from Sweden when you've got a kid who's played a season in that division already.
We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Like Cresswell had a relatively good season at Millwall, and he's not had any luck under Farker, even when we've been really short. And did he even start the game? Did he start in the cup? I can't remember.
Yeah. I think he did.
Started in the cup, did he? I expect him to start this weekend if he's not gone.
Yeah, I'd expect that. Well, it's not exactly like we've got loads of people we can play, is it, at the moment?
Yeah, we've not really answered the question. Do we expect to bring the players in that we need? Do we need players, and how many do we need? 3? Would you say 2 or 3? Two.
I'm going with 2 as an essential.
And as essential for a push on promotion, and then any replacements like for like.
I think so.
Do you think we'll get that?
Well,
I think there's a strong possibility. The 49ers keep telling us how they're not messing about and stuff, so we'll see, won't we?
Yeah.
We have a proper recruitment team now, which is something you can at least feel positive about.
That's very true, Jay. Yeah.
It's not like Victor Orr sticking his finger in there or up his ass or whatever he does, and then in his mouth, trying to decide who he's going to sign next from Football Manager.
Bryn, if we didn't beat Brum, the arse falls out. Imagine losing unbeaten home record to that lot. Yeah, fair point, but we didn't.
I know, that'd be bad.
Cloud. Blazed Ray, remember when Rooney got caught with that granny? Rum lad, him. He is a rum lad. I do remember him getting caught with that granny. Just related to the last question, has Cooper stopped Cresswell's progression, do we think? And now he may be going. Do you think that's fair, or do you just think Farker trusts more in experience as centre-back than potentially obviously Cresswell?
I don't think you can blame another player for your development stifling. I think it's a squad game. You've prepared for that. You know the deal.
If you show you're the better player, they train together week in, week out. It's up to him to show that he's a better player. I think it'd be unfair. In fact, I'd probably counter argue that Cooper has maybe supported Cresswell's development and improved him as a player.
So. I get the impression Cooper's going to be one of them who's going to make a good manager, because I feel like he understands everything. He's just not physically good enough to always pull it off, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, he was at Chesterfield before we signed him, so.
But as somebody to learn from, do you know what I mean? He's got a lot of experience. He knows what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing. He just doesn't always get it right when he does say so. But he's got the theory down, I reckon.
Yeah, I think you're right. Roland Buttonubs, all the way from the US of bloody A. Happy New Year to you. We still do need a left back, I believe. Sam Byron is already shown he's made of as chocolate. Biscuits. So we're struggling. And Fairport, Fairport is. I mean, look, as much as I've banged the drum about him being a relatively good left back in a particular system, that system doesn't play that way every week. So we do need another left back, a proper left back. But it showed the difference when you had somebody playing left back who was left footed, overlapping and putting the ball in the box yesterday. We scored 2 goals from it. So, a big thing we do. Top Banana, Happy New Year to yourself. We need to play Nonto on the left, away on the right. Anyway, away's on the right, plays best. Always on the right, plays on best on the left. We do, but that means dropping Cree, and those two are best mates, so they play really good football together. So it's a tough one, isn't it? If you're bringing Nonto in, where do you play Cree, and so on and so forth? It's a nice predicament to be in.
Cree's made himself undroppable at the moment.
Absolutely,
so you can't mess with that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely. And then finally, because there are some start about Peterborough, but we're going to come on to Peterborough in a moment. If Karl had a proper shave, he'd be rather handsome.
I could shave. I'd do a haircut, to be fair, but
oh god,
I could shave with a hot towel.
You could do a Paddy Bamford, mate. You come back on here with bleached blonde hair, it'd be a revelation.
Speaking of Paddy Bamford, that takes us on to the next part of this week's show, and it is
here we go.
Hey, has got a shit tick this week, my little sparrowfat.
You've been looking forward to this bit, haven't you?
Yeah, I have because it was quite rushed, and I completely forgot that we were doing a podcast until this morning. We had to sort of pull together and think, actually, what's the worst shit take that we've had recently? And it actually comes from last night, and it was a young gentleman who was actually decided to no longer. Is it that one?
No.
I thought you said it was at the bottom.
They were at the bottom. They're both titled WhatsApp image, and then there's a file name after them. It's the bottom of the overlay bits.
Yeah, I can't see that. Can you bring them up?
I can bring them up, yeah.
I can't see them.
Yeah.
So this young man, Mr. LUFC Jack, said, if Bamford scores, I will bleach my hair, crying 100%. And that got much more likes and reposts before this happened.
It sure did.
Jack has deactivated.
Come back,
on
Jack.
Now, Jack, the water's so cold.
If you're out there, Jack, we'd like to get you on, pal.
Come on and explain the situation to us, Jack, because we don't have a bloody clue what that's about. I mean, it's not like he's offered to get Stuart Dallas tattoo on his forehead or
exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I love it, mate. I love it. The fact that he's deactivated his Twitter, he didn't need to go that far. He could have just said, "Oh, we're kidding." But it's just like, "Oh shit," because everyone suddenly started replying to. Because you know what Twitter's like. As soon as that goal went in, he were getting hammered. He were getting hammered. Oh, this is going to look great, mate. Can't wait to see it. He's just like, "Oh fuck." His phone has gone insane, and he won't know what to do.
His arse is proper falling out there.
If he gets 5, Brinner's going to do it. Get that clip. If he gets 5 goals this season, Bryn's going to do it.
Wow.
Leave it there. We'll get it sorted. Hold on.
Wow.
That's
in writing now.
Take a picture of that. Have you got a picture of it, Karl?
Oh, no.
It's in writing.
Doesn't matter. They disappear after the thing is done, isn't it?
Oh, Karl's taking forever. Here we go.
There you go. Got it.
Perfect. And that concludes this week's.
Hey-o, has got a shit tick this week, my little sparrowfat.
I think if we'd have thought about it, we probably could have come up with loads. You know, there was probably 1 or 2, but it was literally on the spot. And as I said, we rushed it a little bit. But I think it's still quite a good one because if you're going to put yourself out there, at least have the bollocks to actually step. Don't deactivate, man.
I know.
Don't deactivate.
If you're going to do it, you got to take it on chin, haven't you?
Yeah. Like,
the only person that I know that's ever followed through on that is my mate Dan Sam. He said if we got Bielsa as manager, he'd walk into Air Bar on the first day wearing just a Borat mankini.
No,
and he did.
He did it.
He did, man. He's the only fella I know to follow through on one of them things.
And now he's not allowed in Air Bar.
He is still allowed in Air Bar, yeah. Every time someone pops up with something like that, I tag him on Twitter. I'm like, there's only one man that's ever done it. There's only one man.
Fair play to him.
Yeah, top man.
We must say a special thank you to our friends over at Not Another Leeds Podcast who put that video together for us, the short Sparrow Fart video.
Absolutely.
So thank you ever so much for that. Right then, let's have a chat about. Oh, we haven't got any predictions this week because Gilly doesn't want to put them on when he gets it wrong. So we don't get the scores when he doesn't get them right. When he gets them right, they're like in a week early. But like, he didn't give us them this week. So that's probably because only Jay and I got 3 points and everybody else got 1. So we're chopping them down, aren't we, Jace? Chopping them down.
We're gonna have that epic battle at the top, me and you, come the end of the season.
I'll take a point.
Go that far. I won't go that far, Jay. But we can only dream. I think I was quite high up anyway. To be fair, I think I'm literally jumping them now. I must be.
I was bollocks until I got them 2 correct scores that pulled me up off the bottom.
Yeah. Oh,
now I'm rocking and rolling.
I said it was going to be 3-0. I hope you had a bet on that, but I said 4-1,
I hope so.
So I'm a little bit. I've said 4-1 for the last few games. You know, I said 4-1 for Ipswich, 4-1 for Preston.
That's what I did in first season in Premier League, wasn't it? Every game.
4-1 every week. Yeah. Anyway. So we haven't got any predictions update for you. You'll be pleased to know or unhappy to know, or even if you give a shit.
No one cares.
Nobody cares about it. It's our own little internal league anyway. With you guys who are, I think, bottom.
5-2.
Yeah, Jay had 5-2, you tit.
Yeah.
I did, yeah.
Bryn.
Why not?
Fire.
Somebody had already took 3-0, I think, so I had to do something different. That's all.
Good man.
Nobody had 3-0. Nobody had 3-0. Unless
3-0 or 3-1.
Yeah, I think Gilly had 3-1. I had 4-1.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on and moving forward. Peterborough Sunday. Anyone going?
Sadly not, mate. I just wasn't mood for this at all.
No, I'm going on Sunday. I'm looking forward to it. I won't be drinking. It's a Sunday, obviously. I'm going there, and then actually, I'm
obviously because it's a Sunday. That's why you're not drinking. Yeah,
you're taking little one with
you.
Dave Sabbath. No, I don't know yet. I might be taking the little one, but also Leeds Knights are actually playing against Peterborough in Peterborough afterwards. The ice hockey as well, so I might go to that as well. So we'll see.
Nice.
But in terms of Sunday, where do you stand on? Do we want a bit of a momentum? Do we just completely write the team off and just play a second string 11? If we do, who features? Let's start with your preference then, Karl. Do you want to see any of that first 11 or the preferred first 11 starting against Peterborough?
I want to see a win because we've had a lousy run of games for the last 4 games. So I want to see a win, and I think I don't think it changed the team up too much. I just think,
Really?
I think put Archie in midfield, perhaps bring in Deej Spence at right back, take out Ampadu because he's played bar being taken off at Blackburn for 5 minutes. He's played every minute of the season.
Do you play Joseph up front rather than sort of Bamford or Peterborough though?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think starting Anto.
And then he starts.
I think start maybe Joe
let's go
somewhere.
Let's go through the squads, because for me it'd be wholesale changes. It'd be players who haven't been starting this season, and it'd be it would probably be Darlow if he hadn't dislocated his thumb. So we're probably going to go Clarkson in net. I would probably look at Jed Spence and Furport as right and left back. I would look at
Cresswell's got to play. Yeah,
if Cresswell's still here.
What about Yelda?
No,
he's still there, isn't he? He's not
still
out
here,
anywhere.
but I don't know. I think. Gruev in the middle with who? Who would you put with Gruev with? Archie Gruev?
Broken.
Oh, bloody hell. Face bar broken.
He just spat that out.
Yeah.
Do you know what though? I pretty much agree with all that team.
When did we sign him?
Yeah, me too.
When did we sign him?
We make some money on printing that on a shirt.
I think the only one I disagree with in there is I'd be starting Pirro in there. I don't know where. Maybe Pirro in the 10. I know he's not a 10, but I think against a team like Peterborough it works. And then I don't know about Archie Gray for Gruev. I don't know who else we got who can play there either. Maybe look at bringing Colin Lewis Bate up from the under 21s, maybe
from the edge of obscurity.
Yeah,
I think he's on the International Space Station or something at this point, Lewis Bate.
By the way, Scooby, I don't think Yelder's rubbish. I don't think he's rubbish. I just don't think it will play him over Cooper, because Cooper's going to captain us on Sunday and he hasn't played week in, week out. And obviously Stroik's back soon, so it'll go back to being Stroik and Rodon. So I think he probably will play him. But yeah, I think that's pretty much spot on what I would play. The only question mark I've got... Hello, Smarty. Anyway, just back to the team then. Would you give Gray a rest? I think he deserves or needs a rest, doesn't he?
I think so, yeah.
But then who do you play?
It's one of
Kamara with him? With Gruev? Kamara?
But then, doesn't he need a rest?
It's a hard one to call. I wouldn't like to be in a position where I'd have to call it.
It is difficult. It's Smarty's saying something in the comments about if we want to progress, we need a decent group of players in there because they're a decent side. But I don't. I want to progress, but I don't want it. Yeah, I want to progress, but I don't want it to be at the expense of what we're doing in the league.
Yeah, Smarty's comment is if you want to progress, we need to keep a core group of starters with fringe players and the odd spunk bubble youngster. I don't know why odd's written so prominently, but We'll go with it.
He is odd.
Can't be naive and play all fringe kids as we'll lose. They're a decent size. I don't care if we lose.
I don't
care if we lose.
I'd rather not.
I'm going. I was there at Histon and I cared if we lost that. But yeah, I think they're running. I think they're flying high in League One. I think they're around about third or fourth from memory. In the playoffs, so they're not doing too badly. And look, yeah, if we underestimate, and we will go there, and we'll get beaten. It'll be another cup upset that we used to. But I think for me, that's why I don't want to be risking any of our first team when we speak about how unforgiving the championship is over 46 games in a season. We don't need the added games, especially for people like Archie Gray. These additional games and getting them leggy for games further on in the season. I mean, the one
they've not actually lost a game for quite a while by the looks of that.
I can't see it. Peterborough United. I know they haven't, have they? 6 games unbeaten.
Yeah.
Third in the league. 1 draw. Yeah. I mean, look, if we're going to
be a tough side.
It's going to be a tough side regardless who we played. You know what I mean? So why risk all these youngs? Not these youngsters. The players that are actually carrying us and they're the first choice. For me, it's just an absolute no-go. You just don't do it.
Nah.
Well, look, last season, was probably a prime example. We lost Rodrigo when he was just after hitting a vein of form.
Bryn sums it up really well here. The FA Cup to a side with promotion aspirations isn't a priority. Just good to give squad match fitness, and I think that nails it, nail on the head.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was in a shout for McGurk, which isn't a bad shout actually.
Yeah,
give him some game time. He's doing really well in the 21s. So yeah, I think that's not a bad shot. I think we will see wholesale changes. There'll be the odd question mark as to why has he played him in this game, and he might start. I don't know, Ampadu or somebody. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah.
But for me, if we get knocked out, is it the end of the world?
No.
Nah. Just don't do anything like when fucking Rodrigo got brought on and injured for no reason in that game.
Oh, where was that?
It was last season we were at it.
It was the cup game, wasn't it?
Accrington.
Yeah. Accrington, that's it.
I just mentioned that? Like, did no one fucking hear me talking there?
I don't think you did.
I didn't hear it.
I did.
I didn't hear it.
I definitely said it.
Did anyone in the comments hear it?
Anyone else hear Karl, or has he just said it in his own head and then pretending that he said it?
Because we did bloody hear it.
No, babes.
We're going to do some predictions for it, Luke.
Yeah, let's do it. I don't know if they count towards the league, but we'll do it.
No, they don't, because this fucking happened to me last year.
Not that you're bitter or anything or clinging on to it.
No, not at all. No, I've let it go.
Go on then, Karl. We'll start with you, seeing as though you're so happy about it.
4-1. Leeds.
4-1. What the fuck? Jay.
2-1 Leeds. Narrow victory.
2-1 Leeds. I think it's going to be a tough one. I really do. I think there'll be goals in it. It's the FA Cup. I think it's going to go to. Does it go directly to penalties or replay? We've done it.
No, I think it's straight to penalties now. I think
that was only before. No, I think that was only during COVID.
Oh, okay. For the
there's been games since then that's straight to penalties.
Have there?
Well, is that just how much we know? Though, maybe.
I don't care. I think if
we don't play cup games.
If it goes to extra time, hang on a minute. Didn't we go through on penalties against Fulham one year? It is replays, though, I'm sure. But I think that was just after COVID.
Mate. I don't remember. Bryn's asking if I've got a photo of you.
You got a photo of Luke
from that game? Do you mean the cup game? Is that the one when you're down at the bottom?
It's the Accrington one when I'm down like that and I'm trying to hug. I can't remember who it is.
I've got a video of it.
Hang on a minute. If Firpo gets an hat-trick, he's going blonde. We've got another one.
Right,
Don't deactivate.
We've got another.
Don't deactivate.
Right. That's in the memory bank there now, Simon.
We will find you.
Fulham on penalties recently. The first year we got promoted. Second year we got promoted. We've been promoted, and now we're in the Championship. But I think that might have been the League Cup actually.
That is correct, Smarty.
Pens.
Anyway,
No one can
let's move
understand
on.
your writing anyway, Smarty. So
Yeah.
But he writes like a doctor.
Let's move on. Has anybody got any other business this week? I know we've sort of shot through a few bits there. We haven't got much information on transfer news, albeit it is only the 2nd of the month.
Yeah, nothing's happened yet, has it? It's not a chance.
No, I have got a little bit of news from Andy's Man Club, which I'd like to add. So all the Andy's Man Club, nearly. Andy's Man Clubs are back from the 8th of January, which is next Monday, including the new group at Seacroft.
The new one.
Which is at Chapel FM Arts Centre in Seacroft. So across 5 venues now in Leeds. Groups run Mondays, excluding bank holidays, from 7 till 9, and open to any men over the age of 18. So yeah, new site at Seacroft at Chapel FM Arts Centre, if anybody's over that way. Any other beeswax then? I don't think I've got anything for once to say. Has anybody else? We've had a good hour.
No.
They've started doing them lovely loaded chicken fry things in the South Stand now, Luke.
That's an announcement that's worth making.
That is worth making, because I obviously weren't there the other day, so yesterday it was, wasn't it? So
I'll tell you, I were impressed yesterday. Actually, I actually managed to get a cheeseburger in the wedge, not just a burger, because there's no cheeseburgers left, and it wasn't even rock hard. I was blown away. Yeah, it's never happened before.
I watched someone struggle through a pie with a wooden fork. It didn't look like fun at all.
Do you know what? I think
the pie was as hard as a fork.
I
just have to eat them like a sandwich.
Yeah, you do, but they're absolutely piping hot, so you can't.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they melt the roof of your mouth.
Yeah.
What are you going to say there, Luke?
I can't remember, mate. I don't even care anymore about it. I won't see any of you on Sunday then. Have you heard from your stalker, Joe? Come on, then tell us the story.
I haven't, Bryn. No. It was just it was random actually. This lad in the Peacock said to me, "Do I know you from Afghan?" And as you know, I worked out there for a little while, so I was just like, I didn't recognise him, but I was like, "Oh yeah, must be." You know, "Oh, how are you doing? You all right?" Blah blah blah. And then a bit later, we saw him again, and he's like, "Yeah, no, yeah, do you want a pint?" And blah blah blah. And it was like, "Yeah, we're out there in 2013." I'm like, "I definitely wasn't there then." And then a few minutes later, he's like, "Oh, I know better. That's where I know you from." I'm like, "Fucking hell, man! What a weird coincidence, sir."
Yeah, but Afghan as well, like,
Jesus, bit of a weird coincidence. Anyway, Bryn got a pint out of it, so he won't complain at the time.
Exactly. Top Banana, thank you. Smash the likes for the lads. Great podcast.
You better put your teeth back into Joe's podcast, Luke. You can't get away with that on there.
For the lads, great podcast as always. Mott all Leeds our way, and Happy New Year to you all. And on that note, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, all the best and a great start to the season. So, not the season, to the year. Long may it continue.
Yeah.